My name is Sarah Mitchell. I'm 22 years old. Last Thanksgiving night at 10:47 p.m., I found myself standing in the freezing rain, wearing only my thin cardigan, locked outside the house I grew up in. The temperature had dropped to 8 degrees. Inside, 25 dinner guests were finishing dessert and toasting with wine. Through the rain-streaked window, I could see the chandelier casting warm light over the mahogany table. My father refilled his glass. My stepmother cut into a 4-tier pumpkin cake. My stepsister Maya caught my eye through the window, smirked, and slowly drew the blinds closed. I thought that was rock bottom. I was mistaken. Because just when my fingers turned completely numb, a silver Mercedes pulled up to the curb. The woman who stepped out was someone my father had spent 13 years convincing me had forgotten I existed. But here's the truth he never anticipated: she hadn't come empty-handed. And after that night, he would never again claim ownership of anything that truly mattered. Before I continue, if stories about finding your voice resonate with you, please hit like and subscribe. Tell me in the comments, where are you watching from and what's one moment when you stood up for yourself? I read every single comment. Now let me rewind 13 years to the day my mother's funeral ended and the day my father began constructing the invisible prison I'd inhabit until last Thanksgiving. I'm 9 years old. The November sky hangs heavy and gray, threatening snow that never arrives. My mother's casket is cherry wood. I remember because my aunt whispered it to me while squeezing my hand. "Your mother always loved cherry wood," she said softly. She had excellent taste. My aunt's name is Victoria Sterling. She smells like lavender and old books. At the graveside, she's the only one holding me. My father stands 8 feet away, hands buried in his coat pockets, expression frozen. He hasn't shed a single tear, not at the hospital, not during the wake, not here. After the last mourner departs, Victoria kneels before me. Her mascara has run. She cups my cheeks gently and speaks 6 words that will echo in my mind for 13 years. "I will never stop searching, sweetheart." Then my father intervenes. "You should leave, Victoria." "Richard, I'm her aunt. I'm family. Your sister died because of your family's constant interference. You're no longer welcome." "I don't understand." "My mother died of a stroke. Nobody interfered with anything. But I'm 9, and my father's voice fills every room he enters. When he speaks, everyone else goes silent." Victoria looks past him at me. Her mouth forms words, but no sound emerges. Then she turns and walks to her car, a cream-colored sedan that disappears around the corner. Within 6 weeks, we relocate. New city, unlisted number. My father discards the contact book from my mother's desk. "It's just the 2 of us now," he announces over dinner. "That's all we need." I believe him. Why wouldn't I? If you've ever lost someone who mattered, type "I remember" in the comments. Or if you think I should have questioned more, type "ask questions." Let me know what you're thinking. 3 years pass. I'm 12 when my father brings home Catherine Brooks on a Wednesday evening. She has auburn hair styled in perfect waves, a practiced smile, and a daughter named Maya who's 3 years older than me. "This is going to be wonderful for everyone," Catherine says, gripping my shoulders. Her manicured nails press into my skin. Within 5 days, Maya takes over my bedroom, the upstairs room with the bay window my mother designed. I'm moved to the converted garage. There's a fold-out couch, a floor lamp, and a water stain on the ceiling that resembles a bird. "Maya needs natural light for her complexion issues," Catherine explains. Maya doesn't have complexion issues. She has a golden tan from volleyball camp. The household rules establish themselves quickly. I prepare breakfast before school. I clean up after dinner. I do laundry every Saturday. Maya chooses what we watch on TV. Maya decides which restaurants we visit on the rare occasions we eat out. When we do go out, I sit at the far end of the table. Sarah is such a helpful child, Catherine tells visitors. She genuinely enjoys contributing. One evening, exhausted from a chemistry exam, I approach my father. Dad, I have a major test tomorrow. Could Maya handle the dishes tonight? Catherine's eyes immediately glisten with tears. She presses her palm to her chest. I try so hard, Richard. But she resists everything. My father turns toward me. His tone leaves no room for debate. Apologize immediately. I apologize. I always apologize. Here's what I won't discover for another 10 years, every single year: birthdays, holidays, random Tuesdays, packages arrive at our previous address, then get forwarded. Gifts and letters from my Aunt Victoria. My father signs every return receipt before I know they exist. Every year for 13 years. But we'll get there. I'm 19. I open an acceptance letter while sitting at the kitchen counter, hands trembling. Full scholarship. Psychology program. 4-year state university. 95 miles north. I show my father. He doesn't glance up from his tablet. Psychologists just listen to complaints all day, he says flatly. Like you do here for free. That same month, Maya drops out of community college halfway through the semester. My father covers her student loans, her car payment, and buys her a used BMW. She's discovering her path, Catherine says, running her fingers through Maya's hair. I discover 2 part-time positions, one at a coffee shop, one at a campus library. I pay for textbooks with coins and wrinkled bills. I don't complain out loud. I'm away from the converted garage 5 days weekly now. That feels like victory enough. Then one October evening during my junior year, I'm home for fall break. Everyone's asleep. I venture to the garage storage area to retrieve a blanket. Behind the old water heater, I discover a box. Faded cardboard. My mother's handwriting on the label, Rachel, personal items. Inside, a silk scarf, a nearly empty perfume bottle still faintly fragrant, and a photograph. 2 women at a celebration. My mother, younger, radiant. Beside her, an elegant older woman in a navy suit, arm around my mother's shoulders. On the back, written in blue pen, Rachel and Aunt Vicky, Victoria's 55th birthday celebration. Victoria. The name crashes through me like a stone through still water. If you've ever discovered a truth that changed everything, type "I found out" in the comments. And if this story is hitting home, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. Let's continue. My father told me Aunt Victoria died before I started kindergarten. Heart failure, he'd said. She never even got to meet you properly. But this woman in the photograph looks vibrant and healthy. The party looks recent. There's a digital timestamp in the corner, 2003. 2 years before I was born. I nearly search her name that night on my phone. Victoria Sterling. But my father monitors my browsing history every weekend without fail. I return the photo to the box. I seal it back up. I wait. 6 months later, during spring break in April, I return home for the weekend. I head straight to the garage storage. The box has vanished. I find Catherine in the kitchen arranging tulips in a crystal vase. The box behind the water heater, I say carefully. Where did it go? She doesn't look up. Old clutter. I donated everything. That belonged to my mother. Honey, it was gathering dust for years. That night, sleep won't come. I open Facebook Marketplace on my phone and enter our zip code. I scroll through listings. There it is. My mother's jade bracelet, the one from the photograph, listed for $38. The seller profile reads C_Burks_home. Catherine's selling account. My stomach turns over. I screenshot everything, the listing, the profile, the comments. The following morning, I find my father in the driveway washing his car. I show him the screenshots. I keep my voice level. She's selling mom's belongings online. The bracelet. The scarf. They were in that box. He barely glances at my screen. Catherine is my wife. This is her home too. Let it go. Those were mom's. I said let it go, Sarah. He returns to washing the car. The garage door closes with a mechanical hum. That night, alone in the converted garage, I stare at the ceiling stain and something fundamental shifts inside me. There's no thunder. No dramatic revelation. Just a slow, devastating clarity settling into my bones. I'd always believed that staying quiet maintained peace. That absorbing their cruelty was the price of having any family at all. That if I remained patient enough, kind enough, invisible enough, eventually someone would notice me. But lying there in the dark, listening to Catherine's laughter drifting from the TV room upstairs, I finally understand. I wasn't maintaining peace. I was maintaining their comfort. And nobody was coming to notice me. Not unless I forced them to look. I just didn't know that moment was already approaching. December 18th. My father calls a household meeting at the dining table. Catherine sits beside him with a notepad and pen, like she's documenting board meeting minutes. We're hosting Thanksgiving this year, he announces. Our largest gathering yet. 25 guests. Colleagues from the firm, neighbors, some extended family. He looks at me the way a supervisor reviews a shift assignment. Sarah, you're handling the meal. Full spread. Turkey, all the sides, 3 desserts minimum. Decorations and table settings. Start tomorrow. I glance at Maya. She's scrolling through her phone, not even pretending to pay attention. What's Maya responsible for? I ask. Maya's assisting Catherine with invitations and decor coordination. Right. Decor coordination. Are you starting to see the pattern here? If you've ever been the one doing all the work while someone else took credit, type "been there" in the comments. This is about to escalate. Stay with me. I spend the next 4 days in the kitchen. Brining the turkey at midnight. Rolling pie dough at 2 a.m. Pressing the linen tablecloth I discovered in the hall closet, it still carries the faint scent of my mother's rose sachets. On December 22nd, I pause. I walk to the living room and look at the Christmas tree standing in the corner. It's massive. Catherine insisted on 10 feet. Beneath it, wrapped in silver and burgundy paper, sit mountains of presents. I count them. 28 packages. I read every tag carefully. Not a single one bears my name. I find Catherine arranging pine garland along the staircase railing. Am I attending as a guest? I ask quietly. Or just as staff? She laughs, light, musical, rehearsed. Don't be so dramatic, honey. Family supports family. I nod slowly. Return to the kitchen. Continue chopping vegetables. And I think about a woman in a navy suit whose name I'm forbidden to search online. 200 miles east, though I have no way of knowing this yet, a 76-year-old woman sits in the rear seat of a silver sedan reviewing a file folder. The folder contains an address. This address, confirmed 78 hours ago. She instructs the driver, Thanksgiving Day. We leave at dawn. December 22nd, late afternoon. A knock at the side entrance. Margaret Chen stands on the porch holding a plate of gingerbread cookies wrapped in plastic. She's our neighbor 4 houses down, silver gray hair, reading glasses hanging from a beaded chain. The kind of person who remembers everyone's birthday but never mentions her own. She steps into the kitchen and sees me. Flour streaked across my forehead, apron stained, working alone. She surveys the turkey, the pies cooling on wire racks, the sweet potatoes waiting to be mashed. All this is your doing? She asks. Family supports family, I echo automatically. Something in my voice cracks despite my effort to sound normal. Margaret sets the cookies down carefully. She glances toward the living room where Catherine's holiday playlist is playing, then gently touches my elbow and guides me onto the back porch. Sweetheart, she says quietly. I need to mention something. Yesterday afternoon, a car was parked outside. Very elegant. Silver. Tinted windows. Sat there nearly 90 minutes. I frown. Probably just lost. Cars like that don't get lost on Riverside Avenue. She pauses, studying my face carefully. You look exactly like your mother. You're aware of that, correct? My throat constricts. Your mother's aunt, Margaret says carefully. Victoria Sterling. She was remarkable. Formidable. You know this, yes? I open my mouth. Nothing emerges. My father told me Victoria was dead. He said she never cared about family. Before I can respond, the back door swings open abruptly. Richard stands there, beer bottle in hand, smile plastered on, eyes sharp as blades. Margaret, appreciate the cookies. His voice sounds warm. His stare delivers a warning. Margaret straightens. She pats my arm once. Happy Thanksgiving, dear. She descends the porch steps without looking back. She knows something is wrong. But not yet. Not everything. Not yet. Have you ever had a neighbor or friend who saw the truth but couldn't help? Type someone new in the comments. And if you're wondering what happens next, you need to keep reading. The truth is about to crash through that door. Thanksgiving Day arrives. The house glows with carefully arranged warmth. I've been awake since 4:30 a.m. The turkey is golden and resting. The mashed potatoes are whipped to perfection. The green bean casserole has a crispy onion topping. 3 pies sit cooling on the counter, pumpkin, pecan, and apple, all made from scratch because Catherine said store-bought sends the wrong message. By 5 p.m., guests begin flowing in. Coats accumulate on the upstairs bed. Perfume and cologne cloud the hallway. 25 people fill the living room, wine glasses catching light from the 10-foot tree. I'm in the kitchen, apron secured, hair pulled back, arranging appetizer trays. From the living room, my father's voice rises above the conversation. And this is my daughter Maya. She's been such a blessing to our family. I peer through the kitchen doorway. Maya stands beside the tree in a burgundy dress, smiling like she's accepting an award. Catherine beams beside her. A woman I recognize from the neighborhood, Mrs. Rodriguez, glances around. And where's your other daughter, Richard? My father waves dismissively. Oh, Sarah's managing things in the kitchen. She prefers staying occupied. Mrs. Rodriguez tilts her head. Managing the kitchen on Thanksgiving? She volunteered, Catherine interjects smoothly. She's wonderfully selfless. Nobody follows up. Nobody investigates. I stand in the kitchen doorway holding a tray of stuffed mushrooms I spent 3 hours preparing. My name hasn't been spoken tonight except as an asterisk. I look at the living room, the laughter, the warmth, the tree, the presents, and something crystallizes with perfect clarity. I'm not part of this family. I'm the machinery that keeps it operational. I set down the tray. I untie my apron. I put on the one decent sweater I own, charcoal gray, cable knit, the only garment in my closet without stains. I walk into the living room. I sit at the dining table. There's no place setting for me, so I retrieve a folding chair from the hall closet and squeeze between two of my father's colleagues. One of them, a man named Stephen, nods politely. The other doesn't register my presence. The table is beautiful. I know because I created it, the pressed linens, the candles, the centerpiece I assembled from pine branches and dried oranges at midnight. I eat in silence for 12 minutes. Then Maya opens the first present. Then another. Then Catherine unwraps one. Then a neighbor couple exchanges small packages. The pile beneath the tree shrinks steadily. Name after name gets called. Laughter. Thank yous. Rustling tissue paper. I sit motionless, waiting. The pile dwindles further. My name never comes. Finally, when the last ribbon gets pulled, I speak. I don't raise my voice. I don't whine. I keep my tone at room temperature. Dad, is there anything under there for me? The room doesn't fall silent instantly. It falls silent in waves, conversation dying section by section like candles extinguished in sequence. Catherine reacts first. Her eyes redden immediately. Her lip trembles. Sarah, this isn't appropriate. I'm just asking a question. My father sets down his wine glass. We discussed this. You're 22 years old. Maya's 25. She received 7 presents. Nobody moves. I can hear the antique clock in the hallway ticking. If you're holding your breath right now, type what happens next in the comments. Because what happens in the next 60 seconds changes everything. Don't go anywhere. Catherine turns to Richard, tears streaming down her face now. Her hand finds his arm. It's a performance. I've witnessed it 100 times before. She always does this, Catherine whispers, but the room has gone so quiet that everyone hears every word. What happens next takes exactly 12 seconds. I've replayed it enough times to count. Second 1, Richard pushes his chair back abruptly. Second 3, he grabs my upper arm. His grip is tight enough to bruise. Second 6, he walks me toward the front door. My feet drag across the hardwood I mopped 2 days ago. Second 9, he opens the door wide. The cold rushes in like a living thing. 8 degrees. Freezing rain. Wind that cuts through fabric. Second 10, he pushes me onto the porch. I stumble. I'm wearing thin socks. No shoes. The rain soaks through instantly. Second 12, the door slams shut. The deadbolt clicks into place. I stand there on the porch. The exterior light is off. The only illumination comes from inside, warm and golden and full of people who aren't me. I press my palm against the glass. Inside, my father straightens his shirt collar, returns to the table, and picks up his wine. Catherine dabs at her eyes with a cloth napkin. Someone pats her shoulder sympathetically. Want to talk back, he'd said as he shoved me through the doorframe. Do it outside. Come back when you've learned some respect. My feet burn first. Then they sting. Then they go completely numb. I curl my toes inside my soaked socks, but I can't feel them anymore. My sweater is thin. The wind slices through the cable knit like it's made of paper. My fingers turn white at the tips. 12 minutes pass. The party resumes inside. Laughter again. Music. Someone connected their phone to the Bluetooth speaker. 22 minutes. Freezing rain reaches my ankles. I crouch against the porch railing and wrap my arms around my knees. I look through the window one final time. Maya stands near the tree holding her phone. She spots me, walks to the glass, smiles, and waves her fingers slowly, the way you might wave at a stranger's dog. Then she pulls the curtain closed. I close my eyes. I genuinely think I might die here. Outside my father's house on Thanksgiving. In freezing rain. Alone. I need to pause here because what happens next, I still can't discuss it without my hands shaking. But before I continue, if you've ever been punished for simply asking a fair question, type unfair in the comments. Or if you think I should have fought back immediately, type fight back. I want to know what you're thinking. Okay. Here's what happened next. The rain is relentless. It doesn't rush. It just keeps falling, keeps accumulating, keeps pressing its weight onto everything beneath. My shoulders. My knees. The tops of my soaked socks. I don't know how long I've been out here. Maybe 28 minutes. Maybe 35. Time distorts when your body starts shutting down non-essential functions. Fingers first. Then ears. Then the part of your brain that insists you keep trying. I think about my mother. Not in some cinematic way. I just remember her hands. Are you still with me? Drop a comment if this story is resonating. Because what happens next, nobody saw coming. Especially not my father. I remember how my mother would warm my hands between hers after I walked home from the bus stop in February. She'd blow on my knuckles and whisper, "There you go, sweetheart. Good as new." I whisper it now to the empty night. "Mom, I don't know what to do." The wind answers. The house doesn't. But then, movement. Through the side window, I see a figure. Margaret Chen. She's standing near the curtain edge, peering out into the darkness. Her face is tight with concern. She turns and says something to my father. I can't hear the words through the glass, but I see his response. A sharp, dismissive hand wave. The kind of gesture that means, "Not your concern." Margaret stares at him for a long moment. Then she turns away. I pull my knees tighter against my chest. My jaw won't stop trembling. Then I think about the photograph. The one in the cardboard box. 2 women smiling. A birthday celebration. Rachel and Aunt Vicky, Victoria's 55th birthday. Victoria. Margaret's words from 2 days ago echo, "Your mother's aunt. She was remarkable. My father said she died. But the photo said otherwise. Margaret's voice said otherwise. What if the story I'd been told my entire life, that Victoria abandoned our family, forgot about me, didn't care, was the lie that kept me trapped here? I press my frozen palms together. And for the first time, I don't pray for the door to open. I pray for something else entirely. Through the window, the party continues as though I never existed. My father stands at the head of the table. I can see his mouth moving, can read the shape of his words through the rain-streaked glass. He raises his wine glass. The room quiets to listen. I apologize for the disruption earlier, he says. His voice carries just enough that I can make out words through the thin pane near the entrance. Sarah has been struggling emotionally. We've tried everything. Catherine has been incredibly patient. Catherine lowers her head, humble, wounded, a masterpiece of controlled emotion. I just want her to find peace, she says softly. Two women at the table actually reach over to squeeze her hand reassuringly. Maya speaks up from the couch. She literally screamed at Mom last week over nothing. That's a lie. Last week I said, please don't sell Mom's belongings. I didn't raise my voice. I never raise my voice. Raising your voice gets you locked outside. Several guests murmur agreement. Heads nod in sympathy. The narrative is set. Poor Richard. Patient Catherine. Troubled Sarah. I watch it all unfold through the glass, through 13 years of forced silence. But I also see Margaret. She doesn't nod. She doesn't murmur agreement. She sets her wine glass on the side table, picks up her coat from the chair, and walks toward the back of the house. Not toward the front door where I'm trapped. Toward the back. 40 seconds later, the side gate creaks open. Footsteps crunch through the wet gravel. And then Margaret is beside me, draping a thick wool blanket over my shoulders. It's warm. It smells like cedar. Here, sweetheart. Her voice is steady and urgent. I made a call. Help is coming. If someone ever helped you when nobody else would, type someone helped in the comments. Because what pulls up to this curb changes everything. Stay with me. My teeth chatter so violently I can barely form words. Who did you call? Margaret looks at me. Her eyes hold something I haven't seen directed toward me in 13 years. Absolute certainty. Someone who should have been here a long time ago. Down the street, I hear an engine. Low, smooth, expensive. Getting closer. The front door swings open violently. Light and warmth pour onto the porch for exactly 3 seconds before my father's silhouette fills the frame. He sees Margaret. He sees the blanket around my shoulders. His nostrils flare. Margaret, this is a private family matter. Margaret doesn't flinch. She's 62 years old and 4 inches shorter than him, but she stands like someone who's been waiting years to say something. A family matter? She gestures at my bare feet. She's barefoot in freezing rain, Richard. On Thanksgiving. She's being taught a necessary lesson. Go back inside or go home. Is this what you call teaching? Margaret's voice rises slightly. I call it cruelty. I call it parenting. Margaret's chin lifts. Rachel would be ashamed of you. The name lands like a physical blow. My father's face drains of color, then flushes red in the span of a heartbeat. He opens his mouth. Closes it. Opens it again. You don't get to say her name. Somebody needs to. Because you buried it along with everything else. Margaret holds his stare for 4 full seconds. Then she turns, walks down the porch steps, and stands at the edge of the driveway. Not leaving. Waiting. My father looks down at me. I'm clutching the blanket, lips blue, shaking uncontrollably. He reaches down and yanks the blanket away. The cold crashes back over me like a wave. You don't get sympathy, he says coldly. You earn your place here. Something inside me shifts. Small. Structural. Like the first crack in a foundation that you don't notice until the wall starts tilting. Earn my place, I say. My voice is quiet but doesn't shake. In a house my mother lived in. He flinches. Just for a fraction of a second. A micro-expression. There and gone. But I see it. Then the door slams. The deadbolt turns. I'm alone in the freezing rain again. But not for long. Through the window, I watch my father return to the living room, smooth his shirt, and resume conducting the room like an orchestra. I need to be honest with everyone. He pauses deliberately. The guests lean in. He has their complete attention. Richard Mitchell. Senior partner at Morrison & Associates. 3-time Rotary president. The man who hosts the best gatherings on Riverside Avenue. When he speaks, people listen. That's how control operates. You build the stage long before you need to use it. Sarah has had behavioral issues since childhood. Her mother enabled it. Catherine and I have tried our best, but tonight you all witnessed, she can't regulate herself. Catherine nods slowly, pressing a tissue beneath her eye. We even offered professional counseling. She refused. Another lie. Nobody ever offered me counseling. Nobody ever offered me anything except a converted garage and a list of chores. But down the road, headlights are turning onto Riverside Avenue. Wide headlights. Low to the ground. Comment here it comes if you're still reading. Because what happens in the next 30 seconds, nobody in that house is prepared for this. 10:47 p.m. I'll never forget the exact time because Margaret checks her watch and whispers it from the edge of the driveway. 10:47. The headlights are wide and positioned low. They sweep across the rain-soaked lawns of Riverside Avenue like searchlights, turning the wet pavement silver. The engine is quiet, the expensive kind of quiet. The vehicle that emerges from the darkness is long and silver and polished to a mirror finish. A Mercedes sedan. On Riverside Avenue. On Thanksgiving night. In front of my father's house. It glides to the curb and stops precisely. The engine idles smoothly. Rain streams down its windows. Margaret walks to the car. She bends toward the rear window and nods at whoever's inside. The driver's door opens. A man in a dark overcoat steps out, circles to the rear passenger side, and opens the door with practiced precision. A man emerges first, middle-aged, charcoal suit, leather briefcase in his left hand. He looks at the house, then at me, then back at the car. Then a hand appears on the door frame. Slender. Steady. A single gold band on the ring finger. A woman steps out. She's 76 years old, but she moves like someone who has never once asked for permission to exist. Cream-colored coat. Silver hair swept into an elegant twist. Eyes sharp and dark and glistening. She sees me. I'm crouched on the porch, socks completely soaked, lips blue, sweater heavy with rain, shaking so violently my teeth sound like rattling bones. She stops walking abruptly. Her hand flies to her mouth. Her chest rises once, hard, like she's swallowing something sharp. Then she crosses the yard in 6 deliberate steps, unbuttons her coat, and drapes it over my shoulders. It's warm. It smells like lavender and something expensive. She cups my face in both hands. Her palms are soft and dry and radiating warmth. She says 2 words. Sweetheart. I know her. Not from memory. From a photograph hidden behind a water heater in a converted garage. 2 women at a birthday party. One laughing. One holding her niece like she'd never let go. I know you, I whisper hoarsely. From the photo. Her eyes close. When they open, they're red and fierce and filled with something that's been building for 13 years. I know you too, sweetheart. I've been searching for you. She pulls me into her arms. I'm freezing and shaking and I smell like rain and turkey brine, and she holds me like none of that matters. Like I'm the only thing in the world worth holding on to. Then she straightens. She looks at the house, the golden windows, the laughter inside, the 10-foot tree, the 25 guests, the man who locked his daughter outside in the cold. She turns to the man with the briefcase. Jonathan. He nods once and opens the briefcase. Victoria walks to the front door. She doesn't knock gently. She knocks 3 times. Firm. Measured. Final. The door opens. My father stands in the frame. Wine glass in hand. Smile half formed on his face. Then he sees her. The glass tilts. Wine spills across his wrist. He doesn't notice. Victoria. Her name comes out of his mouth like something lodged in his throat. Drop "oh no" in the comments if you know what's about to happen. Because my father has no idea what's coming. She doesn't greet him. She looks past his shoulder at the 25 faces now turned toward the door. At Catherine frozen midlaugh on the sofa. At Maya holding a dessert plate. Then she looks back at me, still wrapped in her coat on the porch, and back at him. You locked my niece outside in freezing rain, she says. Her voice carries. She intends it to. On Thanksgiving. In the house I purchased. 25 people go silent simultaneously. Catherine stands up from the sofa slowly. Who is this woman? Nobody answers her. Every pair of eyes is locked on the doorway. On the 76-year-old woman in a cream blouse who just said the word purchased like she was reading a legal verdict. My father recovers first. He always does. Aunt Victoria, this is a misunderstanding. I am not your aunt. Victoria's voice is surgical. Clean. Precise. I am Rachel's aunt. And this is not your property. Jonathan Fleming steps inside. He moves with the practiced calm of someone who's delivered uncomfortable truths in far more hostile environments than this. He opens the briefcase on the dining table, right next to the centerpiece I made at 2 a.m., and removes a folder. This property, Victoria says, lifting a document for the room to see, for 27, Riverside Avenue, was purchased by me, Victoria Sterling, in 2005 as a wedding gift for my niece Rachel. The deed is in my name. It has always been in my name. Richard shakes his head. That's not, I've been paying. You've been living here rent-free for 17 years. Victoria doesn't raise her voice. She lowers it, which somehow makes it worse. I allowed it for Rachel's sake. And then for Sarah's. Hoping you'd eventually become the father she deserved. The room shifts. I can see it happening. The way people's postures change. The way Stephen from the firm uncrosses his arms. The way Mrs. Rodriguez puts her hand over her mouth. Catherine's face cycles through 3 expressions in 3 seconds: confusion, fury, calculation. Richard, what is she talking about? This is our house. I pay the bills. Utilities. Maintenance. Paying the electric bill, Victoria says evenly, does not make you the owner, Richard. Jonathan sets the deed on the table. Then a second document. Then a third. Then a thick stack of envelopes bound with a rubber band. 13 years of certified mail, he says quietly. All returned unopened. Victoria turns to me. I'm standing just inside the doorway now. Jonathan had guided me inside, please, miss, out of the rain, and wrapped a car blanket around my legs. My feet are on the warm hardwood. They're burning as feeling returns. Sarah. Victoria's voice transforms. The scalpel becomes a hand extended. Your uncle and I wrote to you every single birthday. Every holiday. Cards. Gifts. Letters. For 13 years. The room holds its collective breath. I look at my father. Is that true? He doesn't answer. He's staring at the stack of envelopes on the table like they're evidence at a trial. Dad. Did you send back her letters? She's manipulating you. That's a lie, Richard. Margaret Ching. She's standing in the back doorway, coat on, arms crossed. If this is breaking your heart, type heartbroken in the comments. Because we're not done yet. The cage is about to shatter completely. I was there, Richard, Margaret continues. I watched what happened after Rachel died. You cut Victoria off completely. You told Sarah she was dead. My father opens his mouth. Nothing emerges. 169 letters, Victoria says. She picks up the bundle and holds it where the light catches it. Every envelope addressed in the same handwriting. Every one stamped. Return to sender. Not a single one reached her. A woman near the fireplace gasps audibly. Stephen from the firm pushes his chair back and stands, as though sitting at this table suddenly makes him complicit. Maya looks at Richard with wide eyes. Dad, what's happening? Catherine is already moving. She takes 2 quiet steps toward the staircase, a woman calculating the fastest exit route. My father stands in the center of his living room, surrounded by his guests, his decorations, his wine, and he has nothing left to say. The cage door is open. Victoria lets the silence work. She doesn't rush. She spent 13 years waiting. Another 40 seconds is nothing. Then she speaks, and she speaks to Richard the way you address someone who has already lost but doesn't realize it yet. I gave you this house for Rachel. Rachel is gone. She pauses. And you used it as a prison for her daughter. Richard's jaw works. His fists clench at his sides. But there's nowhere to direct his anger. Not with 25 witnesses. Not with a lawyer holding a deed. Not with his daughter's soaked socks leaving wet prints on his hardwood. Effective January 1st, Victoria says clearly, I am reclaiming this property. You have 2 weeks to vacate. You can't do that. Jonathan doesn't look up from the folder. She can. She's the legal owner. You have no lease. No contract. No claim. I'll file the formal notice tomorrow morning. Richard turns in a slow circle, scanning the room for support. Stephen looks at the floor. Mrs. Rodriguez looks at her lap. The couple near the fireplace is already reaching for their coats. Nobody meets his eyes. Then Catherine's voice cuts through. It's a voice I've never heard before. Not the soft, wounded tremor she uses on Richard. Something harder. Colder. Real. Richard. She's standing at the base of the stairs, purse already on her shoulder. You told me this house was yours. It is. You told me you owned it. The mask falls. Catherine isn't crying now. She's calculating. And the math just changed. Victoria watches the exchange without expression. Then she turns to Catherine. And you? I know about the jade bracelet. Rachel's jade bracelet. I know you sold it online for $38. Catherine's face drains of color so rapidly I can see it from across the room. The cage isn't just open. It's demolished. My father tries one final tactic. The only tool he has left when authority fails, sentiment. He turns to me. His eyes soften. His shoulders drop. His voice goes quiet, almost tender. And if you didn't know him, if you hadn't spent 22 years studying every shift in his tone the way a sailor studies wind patterns, you might believe it. Sarah, sweetheart. He takes a step toward me. If you think he deserves forgiveness, type forgive. If you think she should walk away, type walk away. I want to know what you think. Because here's what I said next. Don't let this woman come between us, he says softly. I lost my temper. It's Thanksgiving. Let's not do this here. I look at him. I look at the door he pushed me through. I look at the deadbolt he turned. I look at the window Maya waved from before closing the curtains. I look at the 25 guests who sat in silence while I stood barefoot in freezing rain. I don't shout. I don't cry. I speak the way you speak when you've finally found solid ground after years of falling. You locked me outside at 8 degrees. Barefoot. In freezing rain. On Thanksgiving. And you went back to your wine. I lost my temper. You didn't lose your temper. You made a choice. I hold his gaze steadily. Just like you chose to hide every letter Aunt Victoria sent. Just like you chose to tell me she was dead for 13 years. He opens his mouth. I don't let him fill it. I'm not punishing you, Dad. I'm done waiting outside your door. I turn to Victoria. She extends her hand. I take it. We walk toward the front entrance. Margaret follows. Jonathan gathers the documents and closes his briefcase with a soft click. 25 people watch us leave. Nobody speaks. The Christmas tree blinks red and gold behind us, illuminating a room full of people who will never look at Richard Mitchell the same way again. I don't look back. The Mercedes is warm. Not house warm. Not blanket warm. The kind of warm that seeps into your bones and tells your body it's finally safe. Victoria sits beside me. She tucks a second blanket around my legs, then reaches over and takes my frozen hands between hers. She doesn't rub them. She just holds them steady and firm. I searched for you every single day, sweetheart. My voice is wrecked. He said you didn't want me. I wanted you so desperately I hired 4 investigators. The first 3 hit dead ends. Your father moved 3 times. Changed phone numbers. Used Catherine's name on utilities. She squeezes my hands gently. The 4th investigator found this address 78 hours ago. I was on a flight the next morning. You came for Thanksgiving. I came for you. Thanksgiving was just timing. I break. Not the way I broke in the converted garage, silent and swallowed. I break the way you break when someone finally holds the door open after you've been knocking your entire life. Loud. Messy. Shaking. 13 years of silence pour out in 2 minutes. And Victoria doesn't shush me. She doesn't pat my back and say it's okay. She just holds on. When I finally stop, I look out the rear window. The house is shrinking. The holiday lights blink against the rain. Inside that house, my father is standing before 25 people who just learned his home isn't his story isn't true, and his daughter walked away on her own terms. I press my forehead to the cold glass. Happy Thanksgiving, Mom, I whisper. The Mercedes turns the corner. Riverside Avenue disappears. And for the first time in 13 years, I'm not cold. If this story moved you, please share it. And tell me in the comments, Have you ever had to walk away to save yourself? Type I walked away or I stayed and fought, both are brave. Thank you for being here with me through all 12 parts. You matter. Your story matters. And you deserve to be on the warm side of the glass.